A big match for the World Cup is happening in Kansas City today.
We're so excited. So joining us this morning is St. Louis City SC President and General Manager Diego Gigliani, here to talk about really what this moment means, not only for us as fans, but for the region and for the future of soccer in the Midwest. Thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
And sticking around, because we made you come in a couple times, you know, so thank you.
We took a halftime break, but then now we're back.
Exactly.
Okay, so what does this match mean to you? Because obviously you're in this ecosystem, so what does it mean for you?
Yeah, I mean, the World Cup, every time it comes around, once every 4 years, is a big moment for anyone that loves the sport. It really brings all football lovers from around the world together to watch the best players in the world. And also obviously brings out a lot of national pride, but also a lot of sense of togetherness and bonding amongst people from different countries and nationalities. I've been to so many World Cups. I always enjoy them with my family. I've been to 7 World Cups with my dad, watched a lot of World Cup games, and some of my favorite memories ever. And now to see it coming to the U.S. is amazing for our sport, for our league, and for our club.
I want to talk about that a little bit more. You know, one of the best things about soccer is that it is played the world over. And you've been to many World Cups, but this time it's in the U.S. And what we've been seeing a lot of as journalists is we've been seeing these stories of fans from overseas that are coming and getting a taste of American culture. What do you think that means for the United States as a soccer destination on the world stage?
I mean, I think everyone knows that the U.S. is an incredibly important market for any sport. And there are so many sports that if they aren't present enough or aren't strong enough in the U.S. want to be present here, want to grow the fandom. And soccer is one of those sports. You know, the first time the World Cup came to the U.S. in 1994, that was an opportunity to really introduce a lot of people to the sport. But since then, so much has happened and so much has developed for soccer in this country. Just a couple of years later, the MLS was created. It hadn't even been founded when the World Cup was here the previous time.
Oh my gosh.
So it's been 30 years of Major League Soccer growth. So now the reality is super different. People are aware, there's tons of MLS stadiums and teams all across the country that get full week after week with fans that want to support. But we still know that we have room to grow. We know this is an American football country first and foremost, but we also have great sports like basketball and baseball that people have been following for decades and generations. So the opportunity ahead is still amazing, and the World Cup has an incredible chance at attracting that casual sports fan into the sport.
I loved it too because the first thing out of your mouth was football, and I was like, oh yeah, football, you know, because we were saying soccer. Okay, but does it hurt your heart just a little bit to not be at a World Cup match right now because you're going to be working?
Yeah, and you have been working.
In St. Louis.
I mean, the good thing is that I have been to 2 World Cup games since the beginning of this one.
Okay.
I've been to one Argentina one, that's where I was born, and I've been to one Spain one, which is where my wife was born. And that is our check box.
That's the bucket list. You've gotten that taken care of.
We did those. Now I enjoy pretty much every World Cup game that I can watch, I will be watching. And I get that sense of World Cup atmosphere just either from my living room watching it or when I join so many different watch parties around the city. And I've been to so many different venues that are kind of congregating, people are congregating at, and you get a little bit of that experience of being in a stadium. You're obviously not surrounded by 50 or 70,000 people, but with the amount of people that are there, you still get this sense of belonging amongst a big group of people that are watching the game and really engaged.
Let's talk about the littlest fans of soccer here in St. Louis. What kind of effect do you think World Cup coverage, you know, this cultural movement that St. Louis is having for soccer, what effect does that have on kids who are maybe just learning their fundamentals to dribble and kick and all that?
Yeah, it's so important. It's so important. I mean, I know that 20, 30 years from now, we will be speaking to grown-ups that are fans of our team or even players in our team that will look back and say, I fell in love with the sport when the World Cup was here in 2026. It is a recurring theme that you hear all over the world. So when you get these kids that are between, say, 5 and 15 years old, that is an amazing moment that will be etched in their memory forever. That's how I fell in love with the sport when I was 10 years old living in Argentina. The World Cup wasn't played in Argentina. Argentina went really far in that World Cup and won it, but it took the entire country by storm. And similarly, it is doing that now. The U.S. is performing so well, you know, better than what anyone could have hoped. You know, 2 games, 2 wins, really commanding wins. Best start to a World Cup since 1930. That was the only other World Cup that the U.S. won its first 2 games at. So the excitement is there, and all those kids that are watching will remember this moment.
Yeah. Can I say something though? My kid is connected to soccer because of City SC. So thank you for that. The Player Pals was such a huge and wonderful experience. Soccer fan for life. We love going to City SC matches,
Right.
because it's just the whole experience. So thank you for all that you're doing. How can we support what you're doing and what you do for the community?
Yeah, thanks so much. I mean, there's so many people that work so hard to make sure that people like your son are interested enough to come to a game, but then walk away wanting to come again. And that's really what the team works hard to do. All that I can really do is to invite all those people that have not yet been to a game at Energizer Park to watch the World Cup and see the U.S. and watch the fan culture and the excitement that it produces amongst fans, and then to be interested enough to come to a game. And I know that if anyone comes to one of our games, they will see a sold-out atmosphere. They will see incredible support, a supporter section that waves flags, sings songs, brings music to all the games, and they will want to come back again. And that's really what success would be for us.
Best fans.
You
really.
guys have been very good soccer evangelists. For people like me who, we grew up playing football, though, a sport that's been probably dominant in viewership in America in past decades. But, thank you guys, I want to say, for being very gracious for me when we call it a game, not a match, use the wrong terms. It's just been really exciting to see that cultural shift that we've been talking about all morning long.
That's great. No, we're excited.
Can I ask one more question? I do have time. I'm going to take it. I'm going to take the time. Olympics. Can we just switch gears for the Olympics? Because I'm so excited. I know we have a couple more years away, but how cool is it that we're going to bring the Olympics back to St. Louis?
Amazing. No,
Yes.
amazing. To think that the first city outside of Europe that hosted a modern-day Olympics was St. Louis in 1904, and it is coming back 2 years from now. And those 2 years are going to go by really, really quick. But to think we're going to have men's and women's soccer being played here in St. Louis, the Olympic rings, maybe the Olympic torch may make its way over here, is amazing for St. Louis, not just for those that have grown up here and lived here and still talk about the Olympics and the World Fair and that period, but especially for people all around the world to see that one of 7 cities across the U.S., St. Louis is one of them.
I can't
And
believe
soccer will be here.
I can't
Wonderful.
I didn't even think about the Olympic torch maybe coming through St. Louis. That gave me goosebumps.
That would be amazing.
Oh
That
my
would be
God.
amazing.
Diego, we could talk to you for hours, but I know that you and your team are very busy. So we want to thank you for coming on, and we want to just remind everybody that Ultra Club will be hosting a watch party for USA versus Turkey. The doors open at 8, I believe, and that match, see, I said match, not
Yeah.
game. I'm learning. At 9 p.m. Diego, thank you
It's
so
going
much.
to be
It's been
late,
wonderful.
a little late for
But a party though,
for a
right?
party, yes. Thank you,
Thanks so much
Diego.
for having me.